coming up tonight. We are so excited. Yes, I got the papers right here. DeSantis papers, the memo that went out to the media that was leaked supposedly of what DeSantis would do as far as dealing with the people in the debate. We know Trump's not going to be here. He's either going to be in A, probably Tucker Carlson show, or B, giving himself up to the attorney, going to jail tonight. Wow. You're talking about being upstage and not being there at the debate? It would be funny that right before the debate takes place, that you find out, bam, Trump has given himself up. Would that make news? Then who would care about this debate? Who cares about this debate anyway? Because Trump isn't there. Well, you know what? DeSantis people said, okay, we want to get you softer, DeSantis. We want you to be for the people. This is what we want to do. We want you to approach the debate because of this paper. But then why was this paper leaked, you asked? A couple of days before the debate. So it could have been a bait and switch. We're going to release this paper to the media, and the media is going to look at this and say, okay, well, he's giving us a script of what he's going to do. The killing part is he may not even do any of this. He may have like bait and switch this, release this to the media, and as we're watching this and going through this to see if he's going to do this, he's doing something else. And if it was the purpose of that, that's genius. But he has to be emotional in this debate. And not really emotional, but show some kind of emotion. All right. We're doing this because we're predicting who's going to win on this debate. Rise with Ramaswamy. So here's the papers. This is what they wanted him to do on this debate. And we're going to go through it and see if when he does this debate, he keeps by these papers, which we hope he doesn't. And GRD, that's DeSantis' name. So, memorandum, and this is from August 15th, regarding orchestra to the interested parties. So, overarching goals. So, there are 4 basic must-dos. 1, attack Joe Biden and the media 3 to 5 times. Well, I don't agree with the media stance with Joe Biden and how the media is overlooking. Yeah. Did he take a bribe? Mainstream media, look no further. I think the bribe that you're talking about is the bribe that's being given to you. Number 2, state positive vision 2 to 3 times. How I've dealt with Florida is how I will deal with the country. The crime rates, poverty, inflation. We're working to get those together. In Florida, we also want to work to get it together for the country. Number 3, hammer Vivek Ramaswamy's response. I don't agree with you, Vivek. You think that the voting age should be raised to 25 because there's not a lot of people to vote. But if they are 18, wherever comes the vote, comes the vote. And you ought to be that person, not you, that can bring people to vote. So why raise the age to make it easier for you? Let's keep it and make it easier for America. Number 4, defend Donald Trump in response to a Chris Christie attack. You know, it's kind of funny, Chris, that you're a person who you feel you're almost on the same playing field as Trump. When I've seen you over the years kiss Trump's behind, now that he's going through all this bad stuff, you think you're the man to beat him? Boy, talk about kicking a person when they're down. Name and vote. When DeSantis' name is invoked and he is given a chance to respond, there are 2 approaches. 1, when there is a core attack on DeSantis' central candidacy, calling him a liberal, hitting veteran records, hitting conservative records, DeSantis should take the time, correct the record, and highlight the positive and dismiss the attacker if it's a tier 1 candidate. And DeSantis can also pivot to hitting Joe Biden when possible. You know, I was going to answer your question about Florida and how's it going. But I'm not even going to give you the time of day because you have no chance of winning. So why would I waste my breath even answering your allegations? You barely have your name here at this debate. So why don't you just go back, take your millions of dollars, and worry about your state, Governor, while I worry about how to become the next president of the United States and making sure Joe Biden doesn't get another 4 years. So number two, if it's not a core attack, but name is invoked, wow, DeSantis should take the response and the opportunity to pivot and take up time. DeSantis should ignore the weak attack and not even address it, and instead pivot to message and vision and name check Iowa, New Hampshire, voters directly, Iowans, Americans, and that he's talking to them now. I respect your question, but I don't see the logic in this. You're trying to attack me because of what? As I said, my vision and my message is to make America better. Whether it starts in Iowa, New Hampshire, it starts with the voters directly. And America, I'm talking directly to you now. Orchestra pit. Roger Ailes' orchestra pit theory. So let's face it, there are three things that the media are interested in: pictures, mistakes, and attacks. That's the one sure way of getting coverage. You try to avoid as many mistakes as you can. You try to give them as many pictures as you can. And if you need coverage, you attack. And you will get coverage. It's my orchestra pit theory of politics. You have two guys on stage, and one guy says, I have a solution to the Middle East problem. And the other guy falls in the orchestra pit. Who do you think is going to be on the evening news? Wow. So, for example, if Vivek is saying something to you talking about the economy and everything, and you just throw a pen up there, you know, you're talking like, okay, I'm kind of listening, kind of bored by what he's saying. And you throw that pencil up because you're going to catch it, and it accidentally pivots and hits a light. Light goes out. Bam. When that light goes out, the electricity hits the cord breaks, the light falls, and who does it fall on? Mike Pence. Wow. So the news is, are they going to really pay attention to 5H's question, or they're going to, you know, really show what happened with you throwing a pencil? Because some people think of you that might be something that might happen, so it's not really a slight on you. It's just okay. Like people talk about Biden tripping and slurring words, they sometimes think of you as doing some things that are totally different for politicians. So one thing that you don't want to do is get your head up too far on some new vision for America, because then the next thing that happens is the media runs over to the Republican side and says, tell me, why do you think this is an idiotic idea? So potential orchestra pit moments. Take a sledgehammer to Vivek Ramaswamy, fake Vivek, or Vivek the fake. I would say do not call him that, because if you do, everybody knows you read this. And as far as the sledgehammer, talk about pictures. If Vivek, and I'm talking about him because he's going to be the one that's going to be known. If he says something to you about how do you really know you'll be a better president than Trump, you lean underneath your podium, pick up your sledgehammer, set it right there, and you say, I'm sorry I couldn't hear your answer or your question, Vivek, because I was moving my sledgehammer. And then just say, no response. that will also make the news. So potential orchestra pit moments again. Defend Trump when Chris Christie attacks him. Trump isn't there, so let's just leave him alone. He's too weak to defend himself here. We're all running against him. I don't think we want to join forces with someone on the stage who's auditioning for a show on MSNBC. And with Trump being not there, oh my God, I'm doing my hands. I'm doing my hands like Trump. With Trump not being there, is this going to be a more interesting debate? And should he be there to defend himself? If you were Trump, would you be there? And 3, invoke a personal anecdote story about your family, kids, Casey, and showing emotion. Well, Mike, that's good. Am I a Christian? Well, I have Christian values, and some of my ways, they don't go with the political ways. For example, we've had politicians in office in my term that have wanted to do things their ways. And my values don't align with them. So I went home, I talked to my wife, and I said, honey, this politician is kind of a good idea, but I don't really spiritually believe it. And my wife said, do what you do, husband. Do what you do. So I went back to work that next day. And I didn't believe in making that particular situation into a law. And I thought, well, who's it going to better? It's going to better me, it's going to better him, it's going to better the people. And I said to myself, you know what? I don't believe in their values. And so I'm not going to make it into a law. And boy, did I mess up. But at the end of the day, I did what a lot of people didn't do. And I showed emotion. So now the next one, number 4, carrying the torch. This is part of what, DeSantis was supposed to say. Is he going to say it? Let's stay tuned. The country is a mess right now. I've been all over the country. I've been to Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, crisscrossing this country, meeting with voters and Americans worried about the fate of our economy, our country. Many voters like me voted for Donald Trump, loved Donald Trump. He was a breath of fresh air and the first president to tell the elite where to shove it. But he was attacked all the time, provoked attacks all the time, and it was nonstop. The drama affected families. Trump's drama pitted brother against brother, friend against friend. He's got so many distractions that it's almost impossible for him to focus on moving the country forward. This election is too important. We need someone that can fight for you instead of fighting for himself. We need someone who is going to take the torch and carry it to the next chapter. I'm the only one on the stage who will do that, who can do that, and who will keep the movement that Donald Trump started going. This is about who can bring the Republican Party and the country into a better tomorrow. And there we go. Talking points. DeSantis talking points. So we're going to see if he does any of these. Let me know. Email me, parkerman@gmail.com. Parkerman2011@gmail.com. Parkerman2011@gmail.com. You can text me. 216-702-3718. 216-702-3718. Let me know. I say Vivek's going to be the top winner. And it will go back and forth. Maybe Christie will get some sound bites. We know Pence won't really get any. DeSantis, he's going to be watched. But the person who is really going to be, I guess, exposed the most is Donald Trump. Because you wonder if they're going to talk about him or if he's going to be somewhere talking about himself. And remember, I can't promise you, but don't be surprised if while this debate is going on, Trump is talking, whether it's Tucker Carlson or to the DA. So stay tuned. Be surprised by not being surprised. I can't wait. Stay tuned for the first Republican presidential debate. I'm Anthony Parker, keeping it simple, keeping it honest, and of course, keeping it real.